The things you're good at, capitalize on. The things you're not good at, learn to be good at. Because at the end of the day, if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to hit a brick wall. I always say, look at the people that are successful in life. They don't really ask a lot of questions. They don't really jump from this to that. They come into the gym, focus, they do their workout, 45 minutes to 1 hour, they get the job done. Then you go up this hill, and all of a sudden, from a distance, there's the end sign. Doesn't McDonald's become a heaven? They say, yeah, good. So it's not McDonald's. It's too much McDonald's, too much processed food. And your body doesn't grow in the gym. Rest, recovery, with the help of good nutrition, that's when you achieve your goal. When you do a movement, 4 groups of muscles gets involved, the helping muscles, the holding muscles, the one who does the job, the one who takes it back to the original position. You need to get those involved. Tell yourself that you're going to do it. You will do it. It doesn't matter how long. Even if you don't do it, it doesn't matter. The fact that you believed in doing it, that's what gives you the guidance in life. Do not restrict yourself. This is your life. You only get one chance at it. Do what you can to the best.
Welcome to Knowing Who You Are. I hope everyone is having a great time. And today we are here to talk about fitness regime, and the habit of building up your workout routine, and also people who don't go to the gym, what they should do about it. But to talk about this one, we have someone who specializes a lot of different areas of fitness. And we have someone from the gym group, is Kiyoumars. And Kiyoumars, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you? Thanks
good.
for inviting me. Thanks very much.
No, it's my pleasure. And hopefully we all will be benefited, including myself and everyone who'll be watching today. So basically how we came to know each other, as you know, I go to the gym where you are a personal trainer there, also a fitness coach. And I see you train many people and of different age group, different gender. So, and it's really how you train that really attracted me, because I felt that you are very sympathetic towards your clients. You try to tailor your regime and the fitness regime to their needs. So first of all, let me ask you the question, where your journey began, how you started your fitness journey.
My fitness journey, way back home in Iran. That's where I'm from. My first exercise, my first sports, I was actually swimming. I used to compete all the time. But then when I was about, let's say, 9, 10, I was introduced to karate. And I used to live in Shiraz, in southern part of Iran. And it was during the times that maybe the Bruce Lee movies came out, and everyone all of a sudden into kung fu, karate, this and that. Yes, I would like everyone else. I was inspired by Bruce Lee, but I kind of like grew into karate, and not necessarily because I wanted to fight or defend myself and all that. I love the discipline of it, and it kind of gave me some guidance in life. So I carried on with karate. Karate is my background, and that's how it all started. But I also did other sports as well. I was lucky enough to go to a good club back home. So I played football as well, other sports as well. So, but I would say mainly martial arts background, starting from karate was the main thing. And it actually enabled me, it helped me with other sports as well.
At what age did you start?
Karate, as I said, 9, 10.
Okay.
I mean, there's a good thing to start early, but then it could have a drawback, because by the time you turn into a teenager, there are other stuff you're worried about in life. And if you already reach something, then you sort of say, oh, well, maybe I'm interested in other things. So I'm not really saying you should start when you're very young. But the thing about karate is understanding the importance and the philosophy of karate, rather than thinking, yeah, I'm going to be this guy who's learned karate. I'm going to go out there, add a bit of machoism to it, this and that. Once you learn the discipline of karate, the mentality behind it, then it makes sense, and it's a way of living.
No, definitely. It makes sense because when you told me the story about how you started watching, for me, the movie was Enter the Dragon. I think that's the movie. And
Yes,
also
yeah.
Jackie Chan, he was a big influence. And I remember that there was someone from Myanmar. So my father had this business. So there are a lot of people who are employed from different parts of the world. So they came to my country at the time. I'm from Bangladesh, and they
Okay.
used to work in our factory. So two of them, they had black belts. So I got so interested and said, okay, you want that. And they made me a white belt and with some logo in it. It was very special for me at the time. And they started teaching me kicks and a lot of other ideas. But I started doing weight training quite earlier in my life. This is because you mentioned 9, 10. And I was thinking now, when I look back, I kind of think that was it a wise idea to start weight training at such an early age? Because I probably started weight training 12, 13. So what do you say about this one? Is there a particular age that people should, because there's a development process as well. That's the time.
Yes. Again, weight training is creating some resistance against the movement. What a lot of people might have in their mind when it comes to weight training, automatically things like heavy lifting, maybe clean and jerk, snatch, really a lot of weights that can put some impact on your body, especially the bone structure, this and that. Everyone thinks heavy all of a sudden. But weight training is just following the right technique, the movements of the body, and just doing weight training. You can do it at any age. It's
Mm.
only and only when you go to some form of extreme that you impact the body with a lot of weights, this and that. Even then, maybe, I don't know, 90% of the time they are all right. But there could be this danger of, yes, you've damaged the body when it was growing with a lot of impact with heavy weight, this and that can stunt the growth. Again, that's something that should be proven, scientifically.
Yeah.
So light, moderate weight training at any age should be okay. There's absolutely nothing wrong. Playing football at a young age could have some drawbacks, like getting damaged, injured here and there. So any kind of sport to an extreme when the body is not ready to deal with it, yes, could have some drawbacks. But if you do moderate weightlifting, there's absolutely nothing wrong. You're strengthening the muscles, and it's actually good for you as well.
No, that's true because I see when I go to the gym these days, children, I think even boys especially, I see as early probably they look like 10, 12, 11, and they're doing a lot of different because they have availability of those machines that they can use at the gym. So they're very lucky. When I grew up, there was only one gym in my town and it was only for the bodybuilders. So people didn't have the idea that you can go to the gym and other people who are not into bodybuilding, they can go to the gym too. They didn't have the idea. So starting from that point, also you said the earlier part of our life when we should, and there's no certain limit. So long you do a good progression, you follow a good progression into building the strength and other things. So sometimes there have been people I met who are struggling at this point, say they're in their 40s, mid 40s or 50s, and they're saying that I haven't been to the gym all my life. Now I want to go back, but how should I do that? There are many things. First of all, there's a social issue that people feel like, okay, when I go into the gym, there are a lot of people who are very fit. They look good and they know what to do. I don't know what to do. So I don't even look fit. So they feel embarrassed. That's one thing, social issue. And there's another issue is that they don't know where to start, that what should be the proper training regime. So not everyone can afford a personal trainer probably. So thankfully we have YouTube now, probably it helps, but again, it can be a lot of misinformation lying or just spreading out everywhere on the net. So for you, the question would be in terms of the age, what's the limit when someone comes who's 40, 45, 50, or in their mid 50s? What would be the first suggestion that you would like to make for them?
As I said before, maybe I did or didn't, there is no limitation. One of my first questions is I take them as far back as they can go. And the chances are, maybe at school or even before that or after that, whatever, there was this period that they were involved in exercise, doing things. And a lot of people might come say, oh, yeah, I used to play football, soccer, hockey, rugby. They used to do something. And I always say, the most important organ of your body is your brain, and it's still there. Whatever you used to do is still there. So we're not going to kind of like emphasize I used to. This is still there. It's just a matter of bringing yourself to start and do it. And it will come back to you just like that. Yeah, maybe you're physically not ready, but the background is there. I'm a great believer in simplifying things. Say, for instance, one of the main issues you mentioned was social. And I say, for instance, you see everyone in this gym right now, the guy that are lifting heavy, that guy is kicking, that guy is running. They have their own lives. They're not going to all of a sudden stop and look at you, stare at you because you're in the corner of the gym, whether you're doing something wrong or you know how to do it or not. They got their own lives. Plus, no one knows who you are. Whether you used to be a karate champion of the world, a famous footballer or nothing, no one knows. It's not written on your forehead. They got their own lives. So relax, relax. You got as much right to go to that bench press machine or bench press bench and just say, you know, after they finish doing the heavy lifting, you just use the bar and just do some reps with the bar itself. What is important, you very quickly and learning the technique. Once you know the technique, your confidence is high. It's not how much you lift, it's the way of lifting and the way you work with the weight. As simple as that. So once I clarify this and simplify, they relax. And I said, like everything else in life, there are going to be moments that you are nervous. The most important part is coming through the door and starting. Obviously, consistency, confidence will come. Yeah, you're like this for the first month, second month, third or fourth month, your confidence is higher. And before you know, you're a regular gym goer. The beginning, the starts is difficult. Like maybe your job, the first time, your first interview, whatever, being nervous, this and that. Yeah. People always think and worry about what's going to happen, what's not going to happen. But the most important thing is bringing yourself to do it.
Very well said, because I interviewed a fitness coach from Dubai once, and he's into calisthenics as well, young guy. And he talked about this thing, spotlight effect. He's like, you're thinking that everyone is looking at you while they're worried about that you are looking at them. So everyone, this story is playing in their head all the time. And how you explain is very nicely done. So one thing I think I would go back and ask you the question again, because you mentioned, and I feel that you look at fitness with a holistic viewpoint rather than just your body. You said the important organ is the brain, and which is true. Everything comes from there. Everything's connected to that center. So if I ask you that, you said martial art was the thing at the age of 9 and 10. But then I know that you have a lot of progression. If you, for the audience or the listeners, if you could say what your journey had been and how you decided that you want to be a personal trainer or a fitness coach.
Okay, I have to be very quick. Basically, I don't know how much you know about Iran. We had a revolution in Iran. Yeah. Prior to the revolution, my life was nothing but practicing karate, school, either playing football and home. That's it. I was all set. And one of the things I wanted to always be was becoming a pilot. I wanted to fly jets. If I was good enough to become a doctor, no, I didn't want to become a doctor. I wanted to fly jets. And actually, I got some flying lessons back home in an aviation club. The revolution that happened in Iran, kind of like, I wouldn't say ruined, but I was right on the border, finishing high school, then the revolution, not knowing what to do. I didn't want to stay in Iran. I left Iran, and it wasn't just a case of higher education. It was just leaving Iran, maybe, and seeing how it goes. So cut the story short, I came to this country, I did my A-levels, but becoming a pilot almost just became a dream, and I drifted away. Before I knew, I was working in restaurant, this and that and that. So, but one thing that I always maintained was my level of fitness and practicing, doing my karate, this and that. So going by that, once my dream was gone, I was doing other job, but karate and doing karate, practicing, it was the thing that gave me the pleasure and gave me the, you know, the thing in life that I was looking for, the comfort in a sense. Yeah. But back a good few years back, I came across an ad that was advertising for cabin crew, you know, and I said, okay, I'm become a pilot, but being a cabin crew is still flying. I'm going to be on the aircraft,
You'll be
this and that.
flying.
So I applied and I became a cabin crew. And the good thing with being a cabin crew is you travel the world. When you come back, you have a lot of time off. And what do? You go to the gym. Or when you fly to a foreign country, you're somewhere and you're staying there for a few days, you have some free time. What do? You go to the gym. And this started going to the gym here and there between flights. Or when you go to places like the sea, sand, this and that, you swim. So it kind of like triggered something. So, oh, okay, good. I started getting used to gym, this and that. And obviously the background in sports did help me. Yeah. So if you're involved in one sport and you have the physicality of doing things, it's easier to pick up things because you understand the fundamentals and the basics, this and that. So I got into being more serious about my gym work. And the thing with flying is as much as it's so beautiful and nice, you get fed up with it. People used to ask me, where are you going this morning? I would say, I'm going to Miami. I'm going to Florida. How nice is it? I'm fed up. I don't want to fly anymore.
Exactly. Long flights and totally detached from the ground.
I needed a change of career, and there it is. The rest is history. I became a personal trainer. And obviously my background in sports did help.
Okay. And then you had definitely got your certificate and you had to go
Yeah,
through
yeah,
your
yeah.
own training.
Basically,
Yeah.
yeah. Basically, I'm sure they do the course at the colleges as well, but there are private companies, like PT Academy, YMCA. You could be intensive. You can do it, distance learning, this and that. And so basically, you need to get your level 2, level 3, then move up level 4, whatever different
How long
levels.
does it
And
take if someone is interested, say a young person, he wants to be a coach as well? So how long?
I believe if you do it intensively, up to the way they do the courses could be 6 weeks. Intensive course. You go there, say for instance, Monday to Friday. That you have the weekends off. Uh, there are ways around it. You can do it in different ways. I would say if people who are interested, phone these companies and see what they can offer you depending on your lifestyle. Obviously, some people are working already and they have to fit it in with their job as well. So phone them and inquire about it, and they're very helpful. I would say don't go for anything too cheap. Just talk to them, explain and make sure it's something reasonable. And obviously, there are so many aspects to it, the physical side, physiology, and anatomy, and just go for it. Just start, and that's it.
So what's your client base like?
Okay, this is where I come in, and that's basically experience in life. I believe 90% of people more or less want the same thing. It's only when we categorize it right at the top. Say, for instance, you ask an average person, comes to you, well, what is your goal? What do you want? I want to become more muscular, have more muscle, but I don't want to become a bodybuilder. I don't want to be a bodybuilder. Okay, so basically you realize they want to shape up and feel good. Someone else, I don't know. I'm running the marathon here and there. I want to get myself ready. I want to learn a bit of martial arts here and there. But as you said and mentioned it earlier, this thing about hypertrophy bodybuilding, all of a sudden is the main thing on right at the top before you go, oh, I want to look this way. There's people kind of like concentrate so much on this hypertrophy here. One of the questions I ask is, what is the perfect body? Is the swimmer's body lean? Is it a fighter's body? Is it a fitness model? Is it a bodybuilder? Mr. Olympia, whatever. Was it Arnold's best body, or is it Bruce Lee? Is it Bruce Lee's best body? Then you realize people actually want a little bit of everything. So, say for instance, someone sits in the gym, does hypertrophy. Is his body better looking than someone who only does calisthenics? A gymnast maybe doesn't do that much weight training, but is used to gymnastics, using their own body weight, doing these things. Isn't their body a nicely shaped body? Yeah. And plus, looking nice at your peak is a periodic thing. Even the best bodybuilder, maybe off season, you could see them with a big belly going up because they're bulking up, then they cut down. So I would say, if you're not that professional to specify on that particular thing, an average day of your life would be, I want a bit of everything. I look healthy, shaping up a little bit. So that's where I explain to them, okay, just find out how much you can put into it to what extent, and just do your workout and be an all-rounder. When I use the word all-rounder, say for instance, let's say you're good at cardio. Okay, excellent. People usually want to go straight towards the things they're good at because, as we said earlier, they don't want to be looked at doing things they're not good at. If you're good at cardio, excellent. Carry on with your cardio. Add a bit of weight training to it as well every now and then. So 3 cardio session, 1 weight, you can arrange it any way you want. The things you're good at, capitalize on. The things you're not good at, learn to be good at. Because at the end of the day, if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to hit a brick wall and you're just not going to progress. It's best to bring in other methods of training into your training as well. As simple as that. If you're a bodybuilder and you used to do this, yes, a bit of cardio or giving a dynamic touch to your weight training is not a bad thing. And I always say, what do I mean by that? Say, for instance, do your compound exercises and then jump on the treadmill, run, come back, come down, do your compound exercise as well. That shapes up your body as well. What is actually perfect body? Is it lean muscles, bulk muscles? What? Everything should be in accordance, your height, your weight. So when people look at it, what is it exactly? Is it this type, that type? And then you find out that, no, it could be, everything.
So you already have answered most of the questions I wanted to ask, or I lined up while I was listening to you. I was thinking that I'll ask you about what are the things they're looking for. You already had kind of answered. But since they want a bit of everything, that's definitely a difficult ask for a personal coach. You're like, okay, or a fitness trainer, that where I should begin, because it's a bit of a confusing position they're at. And you give them some guideline, I understand, but how do you start with them?
Okay, what I always start with is I give them a taster and a consultation. And during that taster, obviously, we sit down and talk. What's their background, physical background, whatever. As I said, I'll go as far back as the school, what they used to do. And then obviously there are certain exercises that are must. I call them compound exercises, things like squat, deadlift, bench press, bent over rows, clean the bar, overhead presses. It involves a group of muscles, involves your core and makes you stronger as a person. I always say, regardless of your goal, you must learn these exercises. Not because I also say, for instance, teach how to clean the bar, overhead press it. And I always say it's not because I want to send you to the Olympics. I just want to bring you to understanding the importance of these compound exercises, regardless of your goal. And I always check them for their posture. I give them a little bit of fitness test. Say, for instance, I ask them to do press-ups. If the guy does 20 press-ups comfortably and a few pull-ups comfortably, I know that he can push his way around, and then I decide accordingly. Everything is to do with that taste and consultation. And I always start off with saying that my job is to look after your fitness, strength, and conditioning. I always show them how to divide the muscle groups, what to do as a homework in the gym. Once you understand the basics, the fundamentals, the rest is sets and reps. If I say, for instance, do 10, 10, 10, someone tells you do 12, 12, 12, or 8, 8, 8, or whatever, it's just numbers. The body does not recognize numbers. The muscle feel the tension. It's all about time and attention. And it's very simple. Again, a lot of younger people have it in their minds, I should go heavy. I said, trying to lift something that you can't even lift, that's stupidity. You got to work with the weight. If it's heavy, it's very simple. You do less reps. If it's light, you do more reps. Even if I pick a pen up and do 100 biceps curls with the tension, when it comes to 100, I feel the tension. So it's about time and attention. Another word that I use a lot, I say, I'm not a magician, and I'm not going to promise you anything. I'm just going to do my best. I have some experience in life. I'm going to show you the way. The rest is down to you. And I always say, look at the people that are successful in life. They don't really ask a lot of questions. They don't really jump from this to that. They come into the gym, focus, they do their workout, 45 minutes to 1 hour, they get the job done, then a little bit of socializing, then they go home. And your body doesn't grow in the gym. Rest, recovery with the help of good nutrition. That's when you achieve your goal. Because of my martial arts background, I always give them what I call a combat session as well.
Okay.
And the good thing about martial arts or karate or this and that or boxing, kickboxing is it's systematic. They learn a little bit and they say, oh, yeah, that wasn't bad. I want to learn a little bit more. And that actually influences a lot of people. They look forward to that session because then they've not only learned self-defense, they're also burning calories, burning fat, and fighter's way of working out is a good way to burn the fight, and they kind of become interested. So I'm wide open. I'm wide open. I give them a lot of solutions and see where the niche is, see where the interest is, and then capitalize on that.
So do you ask your clients to go through some kind of test, or do you have any set of questionnaires for them?
First of all, what we have is PARQ, which is a questionnaire, and obviously the health section of it needs to be filled up properly. And I always ask them, are there any health issues, any disabilities? Are we going to be restricted with anything? And if the answer is yes, this and that, and I always, I'm not going to preach something that I don't know. I'm a great believer, go to an expert. As a personal trainer, my knowledge is limited. I always, if they say yes, for instance, there's this health issue, this and that, my next question would be, what did your doctor or physio or osteopath or whoever you went to, what did they say? Have they given you any exercises? Some of them say, for instance, have been to, let's say, physio, they've given them some exercises. Let's say they've been to the doctor and the doctor said this and that. And I always come up with this thing. This is my own personal belief. I'm a very simple guy. I'm a very simple guy. Say, for instance, I say the doctor has told you don't do this. Say, for instance, one very common one is the doctor told me not to do any squats. I can't squat. I say, oh, really? Oh, you can't do any squats. This next thing I do, I find a seat, a chair. I said, do you mind sitting on that chair? Wide, open the legs a little bit wider, shoulder bit, sit down and get up, nice posture. They sit down and get up comfortably. I said, well, you can do squats. It's just maybe you cannot have a heavy weight on your back and do deep squats. You're going to avoid that. But you can do squats because a squat is a movement of the body. Yeah. So a lot of people might say, I can't do press-ups. I say, really? I take them towards, again, a box or a bench or the windowsill. I say, just outside the shoulders, outside the chest here, do some, push yourself away from that. And they do it. I said, that's the press-ups. Don't tell me you can't. You can't do press-ups on the floor. So I'm not going to concentrate on that. Oh, we can't do this and we're going to deprive ourselves from doing that movement. And everything is done accordingly. And I always explain that it's a vicious circle. If something was injured, you had an operation or something is weak for whatever reason, we need to work on it. And the only way to make it stronger is by doing the movement. But we're not going to go heavy. If you want to make these ligaments, tendons, the muscle around it strong, when you do a movement, 4 groups of muscles gets involved, you know, the helping muscles, the holding muscles, the one who does the job, the one who takes it back to the original position. We need to get those involved. And the only way you're going to get stronger if something is weak is by doing it. But we do everything accordingly. So do not deprive yourself. Another example that I gave right at the end, again, I said, what is the greatest motivation in life? They said, well, I don't know, this and that. I said, what is the greatest motivation when it comes to exercise than watching Paralympics? Oh my God. The person was told, you're going to die. The person has got some part of the body missing. They jump in the swimming pool, they swim with one side of the body, and they win a gold medal. They were told a good, I don't know, a year ago, a couple of years ago, you can't do this, you can't do that. So do not restrict yourself. This is your life. You only get one chance at it. Do what you can to the best. Push them towards something. If they can't, I'm very open. I show them other ways of doing it. Modifying it this way, that way. There are ways of doing it. Even if you just hold on to something, a bar or whatever, just do half a squat, this is still half a squat. You're doing the movements and you're working on the muscles. So
that makes sense. So it's important, say, for example, someone who is a personal trainer, say you are training someone or other personal trainers, if they have it personally, one-to-one. But when someone is coming to the gym, probably it's better for them to be aware of, and definitely they have their own doctors and they get these things checked. So they should be aware. And if they're confused, they should just seek some advice from the people around. That's a good thing. So that brings me to this question about, because you mentioned about rest, the importance of rest. Because some people, because I remember when I was younger going into the gym, the one thing I would, because I didn't have much time, I probably had like an hour to be at the gym. So I won't stretch or warm up. I will go straight and pick a heavy weight and start doing it. When you're younger, you probably don't feel these things, but you cause a lot of damage and injury. Because a few years back, I sustained some kind of injury in my back because of those kind of things. I didn't stretch enough. I didn't warm up. So the importance of, say, rest, stretching up, warming up, or cooling down as well. What are their places in someone's fitness regime, if you could explain?
Let's say you've been sleeping first thing in the morning. You get up and you rush towards things. I said, don't do that. If you can, just sit on the edge of the bed. Just do what some what we call mobility exercises, your joints, shoulders, that, get the blood circulation going and all that. Then move into rushing towards your life. When it comes to exercise, again, do these mobility exercises, work on the joints and all that. Then warm up accordingly. Warm up should be in accordance to what your performance is going to be next. Say, for instance, if you're involved in martial arts, you want some form of dynamic movements, do your, say, for instance, use a cardio to warm up a little bit, whether it's walking a little bit or rowing a little bit, whatever, or running for 5 minutes, get the blood circulation going, oxygen consumption, then do your actual stretching in accordance to the exercise, what you're going to do. So once you've done that, in between, I would say sets, again, stretch a little bit because you contract the muscles and just stretch a little bit, rest, and then carry on. And how much rest you should have in between this and that, again, it depends on what the weight is, what your level of fitness is, what your goal is in a way as well. What is important understanding is always the way of exercising. A way of exercising that's going to be the deciding factor. If you can do, say, for instance, this is just an example. If you can do the 200 press-ups in, let's say, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, that's what counts. Don't say I do 200 press-ups every day, which is good, but that's not performance or fitness. Anyone can do 200 press-ups in 24 hours. Yeah. Again, it depends. It's always to do with the way of exercising. That's going to be the deciding factor. So stretching, very important. It should be done in accordance. If you're kind of limited, obviously you have people who are used to stretching or they're more flexible. You should be down to your limit. After you finish the exercise, obviously cooling down, very important. Stretch, be hold it a little bit longer to, stretch those muscles back to the original position and, not causing any injuries afterwards. And just carrying on with your movements.
So I'm breaking them down now. Things you've mentioned. You mentioned about rest, so we talked about it. And also I was checking, it was my own question about the pre-diagnosis, which you explained. So in terms of nutrition, you brought the question of nutrition is very important. And especially, I have two questions. First of all, definitely nutrition, because no matter how much pressure you exert on yourself going to the gym, but if you don't eat properly, and also properly means if you are under nutritional value, if you're eating something, that's one thing. But again, if you're putting a lot of fatty food, carbohydrate, junk food, and things like that. So how the balance would cause trouble for your fitness as well. That's one thing. So proper nutritional value food, what they should ingest. That's one question. And the second one is, as we know, the cost of living. This is very important for most of the people. So children coming from those households and even the adults when they have to look after their children. So sometimes it's not possible. Anyone can pull up a chart going online and see on the website that, okay, this is available. This is what you should eat. But when you go for shopping, probably it's not possible to buy all those things and create this balanced diet for yourself. So I hope you understand these two different parts of the question. So if you could start with nutrition and then you give a solution. So what can people do if they can't afford all those expensive diet?
If you've already noticed, I'm smiling. First of all, let me tell you, I'm most probably the wrong guy to ask about nutrition because I'm always going to have my own personal views.
Yeah.
First of all, you mentioned bad food. Yeah. If bad food was bad and poisonous, they wouldn't put it on the shelf for you to buy. I always give this example as well. Again, I'm a very simple kind of guy. I believe in the reality of life, lifestyle, where you live, how much you earn, what is available for you in this country, that country. You have to be realistic. They always put, again, no disrespect to any organization, establishment, put down McDonald's. Oh, they actually say, some of my clients, oh, I'm not eating pizza or McDonald's. I always say, oh, really? God, that's bad. And let's say, for instance, you're stuck in a desert, and you've just been in the desert for a good few days, nothing to eat, nothing. Then you go up this hill, and all of a sudden, from a distance, there's the end sign. Doesn't McDonald's become a heaven? They say, yeah, good. So it's not McDonald's. It's too much McDonald's, too much processed food. And life is a style for us to be lazy. Just sit down and order food, sit in our car and go around, pick up, drive through takeaways. It's not because McDonald's is poisonous. If it was, if in fact McDonald's could be one of the best corporations in the world, because they measure everything, they tell you what it is, what that is. You go to one of the top restaurants, they don't tell you how much calories in that food you eat, in this and that. They just give you some good food because you want to enjoy it and pay for it. So I'm a very simple guy, and I put it down to this: portion control. Portion control. Your body is a complex of mass and stored energies, potential energy inside your body. And in fact, that's what we are. We are nothing but some form of energy. Life is about energy. What's stored inside it as potential energy in the form of ATP in the muscles, or fat stored inside your body that should be used as fuel but didn't, got stored there. And what you eat. I would say, did you stop eating? They say, no. I say, okay, so it's creating the deficit. What you eat, what you need to do to be alive, your organs burn calories for you to be alive. Then you have your daily work, what you do, movements, do your job, then exercise in addition to all that. So to create the deficit, remember, you eat like a current account. The fat stored in your body is like saving accounts. You need to create deficit so your body doesn't have a choice but to say, you know what this guy ate wasn't enough. I need to use the fat and metabolize it, bring it back to the system and use it. As simple as that. You have to create a deficit. Now there are people who give you something to eat that might bring your heart rate up, energizes you. Wow. Again, it could have some side effect if you have too much of it. There are other people who say, don't eat this, don't eat that, don't eat that. Eat this, what we give you, mix it with water, whatever, have 3 or 4 of them a day. Again, it's creating the deficit in a sense. And I always say to my clients, don't choose something that you cannot stick to, and you find it like being in jail and prison. Oh, God damn it, as if I'm just having medicine. Portion control. Portion control. Wait for your meal. Earn your meal. Earning your meal means what? Become active. Let's say I'm going to go to the gym, work hard, then I'll look forward to that meal, but portion control. Make the size of the plate smaller. And you need your carbs. Everyone starts by saying, I don't have carbs. I don't have carbs. Before you come to the gym, you need energy. Carb gives you the energy. Energize. During exercise, obviously, you lose water. Hydration is very important. And then after that, rest and recovery. Then if you know you're going home and you're having a proper meal, have your proper meal. But if you think between that time and having a proper meal takes time, and you need to take something, take your protein shake, obviously, whatever, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's all to do with amount, how much you consume and burn, and what you're left with. As simple as that. I can't put it any differently. Obviously, there are ways of doing it, whether you can stick to it or not. And I always say, choose something that you can stick to. Another thing I always say, don't follow, say, for instance, the diet that bodybuilder does, or this person or that person. If you're just a beginner, don't look at them and say, oh, he's doing that, then he's having this and that. Oh, I got to do that to look like him. It doesn't work like that. It has nothing to do with that. So find what's suitable for you, stick to it. At the end of the day, is creating the deficit. As simple as that. What is stored inside your body as energy, you need to burn it, and what you eat. I'm a very simple kind of guy, especially being a vegan.
Okay.
I'm going to simplify, and that's the way I am. And I always, as I repeat myself, choose something that you can stick to, because the last thing you want to happen after a few weeks or a few months, oh God, it's no good, it's rubbish, it doesn't work. And then you go back to zero, mentally you're ruined because you couldn't stick to it. You start blaming yourself or blaming the whole world because it doesn't work. I was born like this, that's the way I am, this and that. We don't want that, all these psychological barriers or drawbacks.
Talking to you, one thing I realize that every now and then you make a reference to these psychological things, because this is one of my expertise. I studied neuroscience. So the idea of connecting these two things is very important, because we tend to detach, and especially when you're saying that you're a fitness trainer, and many people, they don't look at the aspect of this thing. And that's how some people end up pushing themselves to the limit and without realizing. And many people who probably don't have a conversation with someone who's an expert, or at least who knows what to do, and they can suggest what to do actually at the gym, they just go and lift the heaviest weight and think that it will help them. So the second part of the question I was going to is the nutrition, as you said, but do you have any kind of suggestions for people? Say, for example, definitely you get what you spend for. So if you're not spending much money in terms of what value food you can get or the food value, can you get spending less? And if you can't afford by spending less, still can you have good nutritional value foods?
Exactly. Of course you can. Of course you can. I mean, let's work on these carbs, fat, protein, and the purpose of them. You need your carbs for energy, energizing yourself. 60% of your food should be carbs. Obviously, this all depends where you are right now. Say, for instance, if you're diabetic to the point that it's a health issue, obviously we're going to change things around a little bit. You need your fat, about 30%. Your protein is obviously for building muscles, recovery, stuff like that. Too much protein doesn't mean that give you that much benefit. Too much of anything is bad in a sense. Too much water is bad. So it's not as if because it's good, we're going to fill up our fridge and we eat too much of it. Everything should be done in moderation. You need your protein, you need your fat, your carbs. Man, we all know what the good types are. Why we say brown this, brown that, avoid white, because of the digestion work. Processed food, they don't burn that much calorie when they get digested in your body. So, and it gets digested quickly, then you're hungry again before you know. Why do we say brown stuff are better? It takes longer. Your body burns more calories to digest it. It's not as if white is a good color, bad color, brown is a good color, this and that. So it's all about the way the system digests the food. Having said all that, again, I'm going to go back to, let's say, who you are. Say, for instance, me or you or whatever, with some form of ethnic background. Are we going to deprive ourselves of having that good traditional food that we enjoy eating because it's got this and that? Every now and then you can spoil yourself. It's all about portion control. And what will be the best? Becoming so mechanical in the point that you walk into a supermarket and you go into your partner, darling, how many calories is that? Let me just add this. Let me make a list. Is that over the limit or is it under the limit? Be natural. Be natural. Once you have control up here, the rest is how you do it. Don't be so mechanical. Don't be so, because first of all, it's not realistic. Secondly, you don't enjoy it. Thirdly, you're just going to give up after a while anyway. Unfortunately, in life, people always want a black and white situation. This is good, that's bad. No, a lot of things are going to be gray. You have to go through it and work hard to understand it. And it's not going to be, this is good, that's bad. This is good, that's bad.
Yeah, understand. And again, not everything is good for everyone. That's another thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Again, if there are allergies, health issues, this and that, avoid those stuff. But simplify what goes inside your body. Food is a mass. Your body is a mass. Extra mass, you got to burn it. So unless there's health issues, this and that, whatever, I would say simplify. And right in the word, from the word go, I said I'm most probably the wrong guy to talk about these things because I've simplified it for myself and I'm happy with it. But a lot of people don't want to hear these things. A lot of people want to hear, you know what, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He keeps saying simplify. No, so-and-so told this, I have to have this, I have to. Unfortunately, people are like that. You know, if they hear something on social media or TV, they don't want to see the other side of it. They just want to hear you saying that. My doctor told me squat is bad. I want you to say, yes, the squat is bad. If you don't, I'm not going to believe in you. That's the way
I've been through it myself. I mean, there had been times that, as you said, that carrying it in the supermarket and checking, I probably would have done it, probably a couple of years back when I would eat something, say I enjoyed the food, but after that, I would go through these trials and tribulations thinking that what I have done. And I would check myself in the mirror. Oh my God, did I eat too much of that? Have it changed my shape and everything? Because this is a mental thing some people go through. So when you're saying that, I can relate to it now. So over the years, I have wisened up a little bit, and I can understand, having spoken to other people, having done some reading on that, that really doesn't happen. And especially sometimes after eating, you feel like, oh my God, I feel bloated. And have I put on some weight? You will feel, because you have put some extra things in your body. So you'll feel that way. As you said, portion control is very important, and also minding what you're putting inside, because that's very important, the food value of it. But you need a balance of everything. You need fat, you need carbs, you need protein, but not too much of anything. So I think in this conversation, you have been a great value in terms of, we covered everything from going to the gym, starting your journey, to nutrition, and also what in between, what they should be doing. Since you are the expert here as a fitness coach, if I had missed any part of it that I should have asked you about, I haven't done, if you would like to add anything to that.
There are certain rules you follow in the gym, which is good. Way of exercising. There are certain things you do in your personal life, lifestyle, this and that. Obviously, I'm not going to even say bad. Let's say, for instance, you enjoy going out. Don't go out every night. Don't drink alcohol every night. Limitations here and there. The most important thing, I go back to what I said earlier, is the state of mind and psychological, the way your brain works. Once you sort that out, the rest is just a time. Maybe you achieve it in 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. But once you have that mindset and you stick to it, you put your foot down, I'm going to do it. No matter how many people will come and tell you this is no good, this is good, that's good, you're not good for this, you will do it. How many actors, famous actors, started by hearing those? No, you're not good. Oh, God damn it. They didn't give up. They didn't give up because they had that mindset. A good example could be Rocky. Sylvester Stallone. He wasn't even told, Rocky is a rubbish movie. We're not going to give you the money for it. He didn't give up, and he look where he is right now. So once you have that state of mind, put your foot down and tell yourself that you're going to do it, you will do it. It doesn't matter how long. Even if you don't do it, it doesn't matter. The fact that you believed in doing it, that's what gives you the guidance in life. And being open to other ways of doing it. Your way is not the only way. Once you're open, once your radar in life picks up things, maybe put your stubbornness aside, regardless of what you believe. If you reach that moment that you see other people, they have the qualities, they're good enough to do this and that, and you were programmed wrongly in the past, don't be stubborn. Accept it. Accept it. Accept other people's views and way of doing things, because that's the only way that you're going to find yourself being relaxed. What's important is having the consistency, the right set of mind, and sticking to it. Everything can work if it's working for you. Good. Who am I to argue?
I remember myself as well. If I didn't have, say, an hour or 1.5 hours, I wouldn't go to the gym. There had been times. But then I realized, even if I go for 30 minutes or 40 minutes, it's better than not doing anything at all that day. So it's about to keep the motivation going, because even if you can't do enough, if you have because little success and the highlights that we have throughout the day, and this is the idea of motivation as well, no matter if it's workout or anything, you want to study, you want to do other things, that's the way to go, that you keep yourself motivated, that you feel like, okay, let's do the next thing. Because we always feel that motivation is a divine thing that you will have and then you can do it. But you have to do it first to feel motivated. So that's a very interesting idea. So thanks a lot, Q. And it's Kiyoumars, everyone knows. But the thing is, I would call you Q, and as you said, it's easier for people to remember you. So where can they find you? Do you do any online sessions with people if they want any help from you, or do you only do it one-to-one at the gym?
I'm only doing one-to-one. This online thing, especially after the COVID, this and that picked up very much. But no, I'm an old-fashioned guy. I like to be there. I like to be present there, feel the energy of doing the sessions. So I'm based at the gym group in Kingston upon Thames. That's the best way. I like to feel the person, see what they're about. Thanks very much for everything. You made my
thanks
day.
For being with us, Q. And hopefully after we have published this one and people get to hear about you and all the advice, and they'll be benefited. And definitely it's been really nice and beneficial for me as well, sitting here and talking to you. I learned a lot myself. So have a good day and speak to you soon again. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.